Hey, how's it going? This is Mike Stewart. We're here at Coolangatta at the Inverted Shop. So come check it out if you're in town. We're gonna come over here and check out the little promo here. And what's up, you guys? How's it going? What's up, man? What's happening? How you doing, man?
Dude.
Wow. Yeah.
93.
Sick. Here you go. Shit. Right on, man.
Yeah, bro.
Cool.
How you going, Mike?
What's up, you guys? How's it?
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hey, how's it? How you doing?
Aloha to Coolangatta,
Yeah,
mate.
cool. Thanks, man. Hello. Hello. Hi. Good to meet you.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. How you doing?
Good.
Hello. How's things? Good, thanks. Hello. Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Yeah. What's up, buddy? Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Going?
Hello,
What's happening?
Yeah, not much, man.
What's up? Oh, what do you got here,
man?
Check this out.
That's where it's at.
What do you got here? What is that?
Stewart somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you got some.
Road 140.
Wow, that's classic. Back to the old school. Yeah. What's up, you guys? What's up, anyway, this is what it's like in here in the bodywear shop. Inverted. It's pretty sick. Pretty cool. Pretty cool setup here. Hey, how's it going?
Living legend, man.
What's up, man?
Hi, how's it going, brother?
How's it?
JB.
What's up, baby? How's it?
Yeah, good. Nice to meet you.
Liam.
Have you
what's
met this
going
guy
on?
before?
Yeah. Stand, mate.
Never seen him in your
Buzz, what are you doing over here? Buzz, little ripper. How's it going?
You good yourself?
Yeah, good.
Jamie.
Jamie,
Can I
hi.
get a photo with you?
Yeah, sure, man.
Cedric.
We're gonna get a photo. Taking a photo.
Can't you wait till after, Jamie, like everyone else?
Cool.
No.
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good.
All right. Hello. Hi. Hello. Hi. Hello. Good. Hi. How's it going? Hello. Hey, what's up? How's it? Yeah, you guys sick. Cool. Good. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks.
All right. So I'm gonna give this to Johnny. Where did he go?
He's mad.
Johnny is behind the scenes over here. So John, I'm gonna give you this. Johnny's the photographer over here. All right. Should we just kind of should I just come over here?
Yeah, come over here, why not?
Yep. How are you guys? Yeah, I don't know. Can you guys on the outside maybe come in a little bit? Come in and join everybody. Just kind of keep us. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for showing up today. And I've been kind of working this, and it seems to go pretty good. We just kind of start. It's cool to get to know you guys, and just it's nice to know that the tribe extends here as well. So it's super cool for me to feel like I got friends and family over this part of the world. So that's super epic. And yeah, so I usually kind of start with just like questions and answers. If there's anything you wanted to know about in regards to the sport or anything for that matter, that you're going to ask me. So we'll start with like a question and answer, and that kind of gets things going. If you don't have too much time to be here, I would suggest just be forthcoming and just come up and say, hey, I got to get going, and I'll try to sign whatever you got. Otherwise, try to keep an idea of who was here before you, and let those guys go first. But as far as like questions and answers and stuff, we can start that right now. And if you guys have any questions that you guys have about anything at all about the sport or anything, equipment, travel stories. I know there's like lots of everyone wants to know like the worst wipeout and the biggest this, that, and the other. So I don't know, it seems like every time I talk about this, I come up with a different idea or different story. So yeah.
How old were you when you first started surfing, and when was it?
Yeah, so good question. When I first started riding waves, I was born and raised in Hawaii, and so I had my dad was on the Army surf team, back in like the 60s and I guess maybe even late 50s. And so, you know, we would go to the beach on the weekends, and you know, anything that we could get our hands on that would float or plane, we'd ride. He also taught me how to body surf underwater, a little bit of body surf, and so we did that. So I was quite young, you know. I was probably about 4 or 5, you know, just go to the beach 5, 6, but I didn't really seriously get into it till I was about 14, and then I moved to the Big Island when I was about 16, and it was a pretty big move for me. You know, there wasn't. I didn't have all my friends that I grew up with up until that point, and so there wasn't a lot going on there. You know, there wasn't any contest. There wasn't really any scene over there. But what there was Tom Morey, and Tom Morey had been living there for a few years, and he actually invented the first board in Kona, the town that I moved to by coincidence. And so, yeah, so I guess he did that in like 72, and I moved over there in 76, 77, and by that time he had already sold the business to a company called Kransco, and so I started really getting into it, and I found out that he was there, and I kind of found him. You know, I'm like, yeah, you know, the boogie board was invented right there. I'm like, what? Really? Like, I was, you know, because I was amped out on it as you guys are about, you know, how insane it is as far as a wave riding craft.
Did you ever use surfing again? Did you think oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I did. I surfed. I surfed on Oahu on a surfboard. And it was actually one of the first 3-fin surfboards, and I bought it off this guy, and I took it out, and I just the kind of waves I was riding wasn't really perfect for it, you know. And so I would get banged up by the board, and it's just sore, and the whole thing didn't feel fun to me. So I didn't really gravitate towards that. So I was quite young, 4 or 5, but I didn't start competing until I was 18. You know, sometime later after I got back. You know, I from Kona, I left. You know, I left the island. I had to leave the island to compete, so I competed. Went over to Oahu and surfed with, you know, all the main, you know, the guys that were over there, like Pat Caldwell and J.P. Patterson and Ben Steverson and Jacqueline Holm. All those original guys were over there in the hotbed, and they're already into it, you know. And so when I got there, I was like, yeah, this is insane, you know. And so it was just an amazing journey from then on out. But I had the benefit of actually working with Tom Morey while I was in Kona, because I found him, and then I went there to go work. You know, I'm like, hey, I'll do whatever I can. You know, what can I do here? You know, he's like, you know what? Okay, you know, he just was being nice. He gave me a job just as cleaning up the shop downstairs, and he had all the old inventions downstairs, but all the old inventions were insane. Like there's one instance where I came to work, and I went to go. I saw this board. And it was like, wow, what is that? It's like, oh, it's a bodyboard. Oh, it's glass. Look at it, slick on the bottom, you know? I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. So I'm thinking glass surfboard, right? It's like blue, and it's got a real cool look. And I go to press it, and it's soft. I'm like, wow, what is that? You know, it's this soft, slick skin. It was like never seen before.
Yeah, right.
And so that's, yeah, so it was like a dolphin. It was amazing. So anyway, I got a little bit off track there, but I didn't start competing until I was 18. So. But I had a good foundation prior to that. Yeah. So I'd done all my, you know, using my imagination and just surfing alone a lot. I was able to develop a lot of the main moves and just thinking of different ways to ride a board. And my main influences back then were more to do with the surfers in the lineup, and you know, just that was my influence. We'd occasionally get a magazine, you know, it was called Action Now. And that was it, you know. And they had a bodyboard section. I remember seeing a photo of Pat Caldwell doing a roll-up. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute, he's doing what I'm doing, you know. Like, and then I'm like, okay, I got to figure out, you know, how to, wow, that guy, you know. So it's like this. That was it. That was your source. It wasn't like this, you know. Oh, you see something happens, like even right now we're going live, you know. And it's like back then it was like months would happen, and then you'd see a photo appear in a magazine, and that was your source of what's happening. You know, contests would go on in the Oahu, and I didn't even know about them until after they'd happened. So I missed the first pike contest because of that, you know. So anyway, it's a different world back then. But anyway, that long answer to a short question.
No, it was all good.
Yeah. Yeah, anyone else? Yeah.
What was your favourite pro comp board?
Favorite pro comp board? Okay, so that was the first one right there. That was my first pro comp, and that was a pretty big deal for me. You know, I didn't. That was the first time there was a signature board actually that shared on Maury Boogie, and so Maury had bought a turbo, and so they're trying to get the turbo thing going. The materials in the turbo were pretty different. You know, they had a vinyl deck skin instead of the extruded polyethylene that you see on there. So, but that board is actually the first. That was the first signature board with Maury that they had. So that was kind of a big step for them and me. So it was pretty cool. I like the 2 and the 3 the best. I think the shape of the 2 is actually what I use for. It's a modified version now. It's a more streamlined version for the style. Yeah, and the 3 is a double mesh. So that was pre-stringers then.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Nice.
Yeah.
And that color combination as well, was that just...
So here we are, we're at the factory in Mexico, and I was talking with the R&D guy back then. I think his name was Brian Ono, and we're looking at, you know, there's materials that we have at the factories on. And we put this together and that together. He's like, oh, this looks pretty cool. It kind of looks like, you know, the Superman colorways. I'm all, yeah, that's cool. Okay, let's do it. And that was that. Just picking up colors that we had already available. It wasn't like nowadays, you know, you think about cool colorways and then you got to, okay, let's order that material. It was like, hey, we have these red, yellow, blue colors. Okay, we'll put them together like this. So that's how that came about. And white is actually a pretty good functional color because you can leave your board upright in the sun if you have to, absolutely have to. I mean, I don't advise keeping your board in the sun, but if you have to, if it's in the beach and you got to store it as you do, what I usually do is I put my fins down and I prop up the nose so it's kind of pointed towards the sun, and then I'll leave the light side up. So a little tip for you guys if your boards are stuck at the beach and you don't have shade. So put the light side up. Yellow's a good color too. It's pretty reflective. So, yeah.
Mike, just in practicality, how do your eyes go as you get old? Like, not that you're old, you're immortal, but you know, how do you know what I mean? Like, have you ever been in a truck where it's really bright, or you're just used to it, or?
No, I mean, you know, okay, yeah. So my eyes aren't as good as they used to be. I used to have really good vision, and they're getting a little bit old. I think I have, what is it, the macular degeneration or something like that. So you know, it's harder for me to read stuff real close. And it's just over time, you know, you lose that.
Is there a color on the board that you prefer? Like sometimes the brighter colors can like really kill you. Or is there like?
Oh yeah, you know that's a good point.
You know, like when you get
a bright colored deck definitely has more reflective properties, and I did notice that actually because I had black decks for a while, right? Yeah. And then when I went to a yellow deck or a bright deck, it was like, wow, that's kind of bright. Like it's pretty reflective. So I prefer a darker. That's an interesting point that you don't think about too much, but. Yeah, I mean, you know, try to wear you know, sunglasses when you can. You know, I have a pretty good squint, but still.
I know what you mean. No, that's a good answer. I don't think it was.
Yeah. So yeah, good point. Yeah, I'd say if you're definitely sensitive to eye reflective light, and you'll notice that a lot too. If it's just white water, and you're in white water a lot, you get this white out, and it's like you can't squint hard enough to kind of like, it's just too bright, and so yeah, that's the other issue. So try to get out of the white water quick.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, any other questions, you guys?
Probably a question.
What's the future design?
Yeah, future designs.
Are you getting something?
Yeah, you know, we're constantly looking for new things for the board to ride better. So materials, shape. What's that?
You're not going back to old style.
No, actually, we got a couple things. You know, the guy that's filming right here, this is John Crickshank. I work with him closely in developing stuff, and we work really good together. You know, he's really a technical writer, and so we can talk at a high level as far as, hey, this and this, but it's not flexing quite like this, and it needs to be doing that. And so we're actually working on we have a couple of new models coming out. One's the classic, actually, that's kind of like an old, it's basically supposed to have the old school feel. because there was a pretty good field that the old PE had, and we've kind of lost some of that with the PP, and so this new board kind of like captures that, and the way we've laid up all the materials, and to me, like, the boards are a system. It's both flex, so the way the board flexes, the memory of the board, the way the board flexes, works in conjunction with how you shape it. So a particular shape might work really good with a particular core, but if you change that core, it's not going to work as good. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring back some of the original feel and dimensions of the boards. And so we got a new board called the MS Classic that's coming out. It's pretty cool. It's like an old school, what would you call it, Johnny?
Like the old 7.7, the black Mike Stewart
yeah,
one.
kind of like that.
Nice and thick, but it's just about flow. You know, it sits on the water rather than like all the thin boards we ride that are real high performance. They knife through the water. This thing's on top, and so it really has that nice flowy feeling. Mike's been riding it down the coast, and epic watching him ride it. You know, just linking
really
everything
good. Like,
together.
I haven't done double, like, haven't linked double reverses for a long time, because the new boards now just don't have the same float, it seems, you know. So this thing's really nice. Yeah, so that's kind of a cool thing. So yeah, we're always looking at new ways to improve things, and we try a ton of stuff. Like, you won't see half the stuff that we've, a tenth of the stuff, you know. You won't see any of the stuff we do. Like, it's so limited, you know. Because we'll try some exotic things, and then it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Okay, what's the next thing? Okay, how does that work if we change this? So we're constantly trying to make the stuff that works the best in the water, you know. And it might not always be the best marketing hype, because you could really hype up stuff, you know. But as far as function and performance in the water, that's what we focus on. So more than anything, like, you know, that's what we're about, and that's what we try to do. It's stuff that really works. So yeah, you know, we're not going to come out with it if it doesn't work as good as we want it to work, or we like it to go, you know. So we're very particular.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah, you were going to ask?
Oh, I was just going to say, it's probably a pretty usual question that you get, but has there been a particular pinnacle part of throughout your career that you've just thought, this is just like the best part of your career,
yeah,
all the way through? Like,
good.
Was there a particular point?
Yeah, so what he's referring to is apex moments, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there's as you go through life, as you know already, like there's certainly episodes or points in your life where you either reach certain goals that you've had, or certain things happen in a way that's like, wow, can it get any better than this?
Yeah.
And you know, it's really important to understand what that is and how that feels, and appreciate it. I've had a number of things that have happened that I've been, you know, so blessed and felt so fortunate to be able to have these great experiences, you know, like shooting for titles and then reaching the goal, because it's such a long, arduous journey to get there. And then when you finally get there, it's like, man, it's insane, you know, like it's such a climactic feeling. And
then staying on top of
yeah,
that
so,
level as well.
but I'll say this, like probably the best thing that you guys can hope for is it's more about trying to get there. It's more about the struggles, the day-to-day of getting to wherever it is you're going. Like, that's what you really gotta take in as a positive, because that point where you reach the apex is a quick point. You know, you get there and then boom, you're flying. You know, you've been chasing up this hill forever, and then boom, all of a sudden you hit it, and then you're just free falling. Like,
Was it
now what?
at that your first title that you got that feeling?
Yeah,
or
I got
was
that.
It,
I
or
didn't.
did you keep
Yeah,
going
for
all the
sure.
way
Like
through?
my first title for sure. I had no idea where I was. You know what would happen. I had no vision of what past that. So I hit this thing. I did it. I accomplished it, and then it was like this big feeling of like, kind of not. I wouldn't say depression, but it was like depressed. You know, like, and so it was like this falling off effect.
Yeah.
And it was only because mentally I didn't set up the scaffold to go to the next level.
Yeah.
So
that was the main challenge.
yeah, so that's it. Like, you just got to keep in your head, like, it's not about the destination so much as it is about the journey. You know, I know that's kind of a cliche thing a lot of people talk about, but there's a lot of truth in that. You know, and that, you know, you really got to relish your journeys. You know, and then day-to-day things can be total victories, and be stoked. You know, I mean, the fact that everyone's standing here in this room is a capable human being to go enjoy an ocean is like pretty cool.
And what kept you going through, like, you know, obviously it takes a lot of hard work to maintain that title as well and keep going and going.
Yeah, I think it's just resetting and recalibrating, you know.
Setting a new goal.
Yeah, I mean, it's just classic. I had a conversation with John at Pipe not too long ago. I'm like, hey, congratulations on winning, you know, and then have you kind of felt that down yet? He's like, yeah, kind of feeling that a little bit, you know. I'm like, okay, just recalibrate, man, reset. That's all you got to do is reset. And because I seen that kid basically grew up in diapers. pretty cool to see, actually.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, in the back.
Yeah, just coming back onto that apex of our journey sort of thing, as bodyboarders, where do you see the apex of the sport? Where do you think that we need to get to and progress to as an entity between ourselves sort of thing?
Yeah, well, I think it's actually, you know, people always will comment on the size or the scale of it. You know, it's not big enough, or it's not this. This is pretty epic. I mean, we got pretty good collective right here. You know, this is like a pretty cool tribe. You know, and there's like a brotherhood amongst all wave riders in general. Definitely amongst bodyboarders. You know, sometimes we're like the forgotten, you know, ones or whatever. You know, the ugly stepchildren of surfing. But you know, there's a coolness to that as well. So, I mean, you know, I can envision how, you know, in a perfect scenario for us, like, there would be a nice career path for riders, and then riders could take technically things far. And I think it's just a matter of time before it kind of gets to that again. There's been certain episodes that have occurred that we've reached a really high level, and I think there's definitely that potential there in the future. I mean, this is early days.
Yeah.
You know, it's only been around since the 70s, which is not long for a sport. You know, any good sport goes through these growth cycles, and I think, you know, the sport would have gone away a long time ago if there wasn't some fundamental, something really fundamental about it that would keep it, you know, would perpetuate it, keep it going. So, you know, your stoke is what keeps it going, and you know, your stoke, and even more importantly, passing on your stoke to the next generation and those around you. You know, that the whole purpose that Tom Morey tried to encompass was just bringing people of any sort to experience the ocean, which is like what we all experience is like one of the best things ever. You know, so good stuff. You know, yeah. Yep.
Mike, outside of bodyboarding, your life is filled with bodyboarding. That's your first passion in life. Outside of bodyboarding, what would you have been if you weren't a bodyboarder in the way of a career? And also, what are your hobbies outside of bodyboarding? Just to see the other side of Mike Stewart that likes to have like outside of bodyboarding time.
Well, I'm real curious. I've always been curious on how things work, and I'm intrigued with the design of things and why they work the way they work, and so that's kind of my other passion, and it works great in what I'm doing now because I can apply that. That part of my personality I can release in design and stuff and equipment.
Yeah. Creative side.
Yeah. So I don't know what I'd do if I didn't find wave riding. You know, that was a huge thing for me. And the fact that I found that, you know, when I was young, kind of lost, aimless, that was a really big thing. Like, it kind of kept me on a good path. You know, I probably would have strayed off and who knows what. You know, I was a young punk. You know.
I think bodyboarding saved a lot of our
Yeah,
lives.
yeah, for sure. It saved a ton of us.
Yeah.
So you know, hats off to Tom Morey, you know, for helping us get an access point, because it's not easy always on surfboards, right?
Mm.
You know, or whatever surf craft you try, it's like I still argue to say bodyboarding is like probably the easiest and most functional way to get into the ocean. Easy, fast, quick, fun. You can have a blast. You can come in. It's easy transport. You know, there's so many benefits to it. So, yeah. So I guess also answering your question is outside of it, just, you know, I really like design. I'm passionate about design. Every kind of all kinds of design, architecture, product design. I'm really interested in. You know, function. Obviously, I have a family, so my kids. I'm a big. You know, I'm really into my kids. Trying to raise them is pretty much a challenge. If you have kids, you'll
Are
know.
they getting into bodyboarding like you, or
They're doing their own thing. You know, like my son likes to body surf with me. I enjoy that. My daughter's completely off you know, both of them were very competent at an early age, and both of them, you know, would go down to the beach when they're tiny little kids in big shore break, and I could always tell when the new lifeguards were at the tower, because they'd be yelling on this PA, hey, you know, you kids down there, don't be careful, you know, don't get away from the water, and they'd be looking like, what are we doing, you know? And but I knew that they probably had more experience than the guys in the tower, so just for getting through the surf, you know, and dealing with the shore.
I don't realise who their dad is. Who?
Well, yeah,
I'm trying to go check out anybody.
No, I took them at a young age to kind of get that washing in and out effect, and just dealing with shore break. So they were really competent early.
And they get that love for the sport. I think if you get your kids in the water early, like I was, living in South Australia on the beach and sailing, that's what got my love for the ocean. But I think when you get your young kids into the beach, it gets ingrained in their blood.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm
my
hoping.
daughter loves it too.
I'm hoping my daughter is completely out of it though. She's like in horses now, so she's into horses, and we're trying to support her the best we can. I know nothing about horses, but I'm trying to like, okay, well, you know, if that's what you're into. But she's into it, and she's gnarly, like I was gnarly in bodyboarding. So you got to support that, you know.
Absolutely, let them do what they want.
Yeah, that's right. So you know, you can only try to present to them all the things and let them gravitate to their passion. I think it's really important to have a passion. Like if you're passionate about something, man, that can overcome so many obstacles, you know, with discipline and all that. So that's important, to have a passion and a love for something.
We've got the best passion on the planet.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm not arguing there one bit.
Just a question about why me and us, like, what are some of the most crazy days that you've seen? It's hard to describe. Have you seen where you're like fearful of your own safety? I mean, where does it go to like practically go, oh, that's nuts or that's stupid? Like, is there actually where you go, like, I'm not going out to, do you have a limit? Or I know that you're a sensible sort of dude, but
yeah, no,
like, I know there is big wave riding in its own right, but like, what sort of, you know?
No, I take risks, but they're calculated.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going out on a big day, like over 20 feet, I'm very, very calculated, and I'm very cautious.
Your wave selection.
Yeah, and I might take off on 10 waves and not eat it the whole thing, you know. So because I'm taking it, I'm being smart. So
how did you progress to that point? Was that just slow progression?
Yeah, that's exactly right. First of all, you gotta want it. You have to have that desire.
Yeah.
No matter what it is you're pursuing in life, you need a strong desire to do it. So that you got to have that passion and that desire. That trumps just about anything, man. It's for big waves, you need to want that. If you want that, and that's something that you really, really want to do, then you just be progressive and smart about it. And for me, it was just like, you know, I was quite young living in Kona up until I was about 16 or 17, and then I went to the Oahu and started surfing bigger waves. But up to that point, I pushed my limits in Kona, which was a perfect environment because I never got over 10 feet. So I'd be able to surf it, you know, on bigger days. Like for me, you know, like a 3-foot day when I was super young was gnarly. You know, and then it's all relative. As you get older and more experienced, it just gets bigger and bigger. So you'll get to a certain point where you can then, you have the capacity to kind of go to the next level. And so it's just a matter of progressively
I think
climbing
I'm
the
going
ladder.
backwards as I get older. I can't see all the way around. It's like shit.
No, you can, you know, okay, here's the thing with age, like you can cheat it big time, you know? Like you just have to be smart about it, and again, you know, you gotta want the fact to be able to still be active in the water, or, you know, be competitive or do whatever you're gonna do. You can totally do that, you know? I'm living proof. Like I'm in my 50s now and I'm still competing on the world tour, which is something I thought I'd give up 20 years ago. So I'm like, I'm learning, and it's kind of like this, you know, I'm just still learning and trying to figure it out as I go. It's not like, you know, but what I did is I set a lot of things up. At 40, I said, okay, I gotta get in shape. So I'm gonna start eating good. I'm gonna start, you know.
You waited to 40 to do that?
No, I mean, I was into it, but not like I had to be at 40. At 40, I started really realizing that I didn't heal as fast. I wasn't as flexible, and so I said, okay, I gotta. And I had never up to that point. I'd only surfed really. I'd done some, you know, like, you know, I did like MMA stuff for a while, and boxing and all this craziness. just to stay in shape and kind of probably satisfy that urge, that intensity. But I didn't really get into like fitness until I was in my 40s, like really hardcore into it. So like every day now, I try to stretch if I can. If I at all have the time, I will do like a 30-40 minute stretching program in the morning. Boom, get that done, and then whatever the swell is doing, I have chunks of things that I got to get done, and so I'll move it around the swell and the tides, and then every other day when I'm back home, I haven't done it on this trip, but I'll try to do like a core workout and just try to stay at a high level of peak fitness.
Yes.
And then just eating good, drinking good water, and getting good rest, and try not to stress out about everything. It's hard for me to do, but that's really important as well. So those things, like man, you can go for a long time. So just keep care of your body. Your body is like, you'd be surprised how far it can go.
Well, both you
I'm
and Kelly are
tripping
a
out.
great example of that.
But yeah, cool. Good.
Have you noticed any differences on at that competitive level now as to what it was like back when you were first competing, like in terms of fitness, things like that, where are people pushing themselves to a whole nother level in a certain area?
Yeah, for sure. The athletes that are on the tour now, man, they're specimens. Like, they're gnarly. They're super fit. They're young and they're chargers. Like, they're going big. Like, I don't know if any of you guys have seen that Eureka event. I almost went to Eureka this year, but I decided to come down here and in any event, they're going big. They're all going big, and I noticed that at our pipe contest as well. Like, guys are going huge. They're really, really charging.
Do you think that's social, like a bit social media and footage and stuff like that? They know they're being seen all around the world, so they push it harder,
there's definitely the ego part that comes in that kind of helps push you. Definitely, like for me, I know I compete if there's a lot at stake, more at stake. And so, I think that the live aspect can help push you. I try to tune that out myself, but I would say it's mainly personal for these guys. The money is not that great. I mean, I don't go in the ocean to necessarily. I don't go surfing to make money. I go surfing for a personal experience and a personal journey. And so it's the same thing with these guys, and where they're pushing themselves is pretty insane. Like the fitness, and I mean, these guys are next level. The top guys are in incredible shape. They're incredible athletes. I think they're some of the best wave riders that have ever lived. And so it's really cool for me to see and for me to try to apply myself to them, because they're gnarly. And it's crazy that the money isn't quite there for them yet. It should be. I think. Gosh, it should be. It's just hard to find the match, I guess, with the correct company and the way it would all work out financially. We haven't been able to piece that together quite yet. So, if anyone's got any ideas, let us know.
Have you found like Red Bull good or more of a hindrance in the sport?
Gives you wings.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not super into that type of product myself. I don't think health-wise it's very good for you. But they certainly inject a lot of capital into this sector, I guess, or so that's been positive. They've been able to kind of push the sport and athletes. That's been positive. So I kind of have two feelings about that.
I suppose they make it a little bit more on their terms as well, which probably is a bit of a negative effect as well.
Could be, yeah. Yep.
With the wave pools, do you think there's a future in 5 or 10 years when you talk about an audience, for example, to get more money into sport, to get more prize money, to get the athletes full-time at it, they need to be rewarded financially, of course. So if there was Kelly Slater's pool that has a predictable wave, you can sit an audience down and you can make it like, do you think there's a future in that, or
yeah, definitely. I mean, there's always been, wave pools have been around now for quite a while.
Standardizes the waves so that they can all be
it's not exactly surfing the way it is now, but it's definitely I think it's been a good thing for places that don't have access, because it's geographically limiting, right? Like we're stuck to the coast. So yeah, if they can figure out a way to create these wave pools and waves in other water bodies, I think that would be huge. So I think it is just a matter of time. I mean, what Kelly did was a pretty big shift as far as performance. Technology has been around for a while. I mean, I've been working on wave pools and working with wave pools since early 80s. So they've been around for a while, but what he did is he took it and said, okay, how far can we go with this? You know, as he does everything. And so, yeah, that was a pretty impressive feat right there. So.
Have you been on it?
I haven't been on it yet. No, he keeps threatening me that I'll go, but I haven't gone yet. No. And I guess it's going through a lot of like changes and so forth.
Just need a reset button for the water level.
Any questions on this side, you guys? Anything?
I've
Yeah.
got one. Have you done much river surfing?
I not really, not that much. I've done a lot at Waimea Shorebreak. You know, we'd open that up every winter. There's storms, you know, the big swells that get, you know, the big storms that give us swells eventually dump rain on Hawaii. They fill up the rivers get flowing, the swells build up a sand berm, and then we knock that sand berm down and then surf the stationary wave there. So that's kind of the most river surfing I've done. I did go down the Truckee River back in the early 80s on a bodyboard, and you know, we'd find little waves and stuff. And then there's some rivers in Hawaii as well that are surfable, but I haven't done a lot of it. But it's kind of interesting. You know, I've been in touch with this guy in Canada, and actually he competed this year at the pipe event, and he did surprisingly well. But this guy was that's all he's into. You know, he finds these rivers in Canada and he surfs these rivers, and it's pretty crazy.
There's a good one in China for the big tidal thing.
Oh, the tidal bore.
Yeah, the tidal bore.
Yeah, that's a little different. That's a wave created by tidal bore, which is like a spring tide. It's an exceptionally big tide, and then basically all the water converges into these. It funnels it down these little channels and makes a wave. There's also tidal bores in Alaska and anywhere where there's a big tide switch, like England. I haven't really. I can't think of. I don't think I ever did surf those, but they're interesting. The ones in Indo, I think I've seen ones that are barreling and stuff. That looked pretty crazy. Maybe that's Philippines. I don't know where that is. It's pretty neat though. Yeah. But yeah, there's all these new on Facebook and stuff. There's all these like new hey, anomaly waves and trippy waves and stuff. It's kind of like a trend right now in the mainland. It's pretty cool in the United States. So there's all these different ways you can ride. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah.
Is there any way that you haven't ridden that you want to ride? You know, like maybe you go there and it's not working. You know.
Oh yeah. I'd like to get Namibia. I haven't surfed that yet, but I'm kind of a little bit discouraged now because I've been hearing the sandbar's not that good right now. So I don't know if it's changed forever or what the deal is, but it's that's one place I like to try to ride. And I haven't been to some ways in Indo too that I like to go to, like that whole south sector between deserts and Scar Reef and all that zone. I know it gets really good over there. Yeah. So there's a lot of ways I haven't surfed yet that I'd like to. Yeah. How about online? I say that only in the terms of like organized competitions and so forth, but you know, the stoke is still there. There's still guys in pockets that are just hardcore. They're not going to go away. And so there is a bunch of guys on tour, which I think is quite healthy actually. You know, I think the better the competition, the higher the level. You know, the more everyone gets pushed. And I think that's just healthy myself. So I like to see that, you know. Not just Brazil, but Europe's got some great riders. You know, in our sport in particular, because it's so universal that you get good guys from all over the place. And that's kind of always been the case. You know, it started in Hawaii just because that's where it was invented, but it quickly migrated everywhere, like Brazil, Europe. I mean, one of the best guys is Ricardo. Where are you? Right there. This guy right there, Ricardo, he's like one of the top guys from Canary Islands. And I used to surf with him back in the day. He was like one of the best guys. And so, when was that? What years was that, Ricardo?
First time?
Yeah, like
90.
90?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that was a while, you know. we were just talking about that on the way here, like getting into the pipe event. So anyway, there's been international guys. Ricardo, what do you reckon about the situation in Europe right now, bodyboarding?
Well, the situation is quite difficult in Europe now because we've been talking about this. Like surfing schools are pretty big over there, and so the sport is kind of declining a little bit. Now it's starting to be a little bit better, but the level is really, really high, probably
As high as it's ever
as high
been.
as ever, for sure. You see all the French guys are pretty big.
Yeah, who's the guys on the-
Portuguese also.
So yeah, that's right. Portugal's got some crazy right.
And
Good guys in
Spanish
Cuba,
also,
yeah.
Alex. And
Alex Diaz.
a few guys.
Or, Alex
Alex
Uranga.
Uranga.
Yeah.
And yeah, Canarian Diego. Just
Yeah,
won
Diego
the,
just won Brazil.
We Canarians are Europeans too.
Yeah.
We live in front of Morocco, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
Europe. So yeah, it's pretty big now. Probably best ever. Right
Yeah,
now.
I would agree. Like the level of riding is so good right now. Yeah, the level is just so high. So that's cool.
It used to feel like it was pretty dominated by Australians and Americans, but now it feels, like it's shifted heaps, and it's interesting. 'Cause like,
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you.
Good people there are.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good to see, but you know, you don't get a lot of shops like this in Europe. I'm trying to think. Is there any bodyboard shops? There's a couple. Yeah, this is a nice shop. This here is a good bodyboard shop.
Maybe a little more geared towards it or something.
Yeah, early days, you know. I think as time progresses and more people find the stoke of bodyboarding as a particular way to enjoy the waves, I think the sport's going to continue to grow. I mean, I think it's the trend, you know. And once we figure out how to deal with the shark situation, we'll really be in there. So, yeah. So anyway, I think.
Have you tried any of those stripy wetsuits that are meant to?
Yeah. So. Yeah, I've been rocking some stripy shorts because I'm in Hawaii a lot. So I do that. Yeah, every bit helps, I guess, right?
Yeah, and there's like a blue one that they put bait in, and then.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, you know, if a shark's gonna nail you, I don't think that they use their sight as a last case. I mean, usually it's a situation where they don't know what you are, or if they do, they're gonna prey on you a different way. So I don't know how much the visual thing helps. Psychologically, it helps me. But I think there might be other ways around it. Like I was trying to work on a suit that would be really hard to penetrate. So I think that actually could be the solution, like a shark suit that would be not too heavy.
Guys too, for like movies and they
Yeah.
get chomps on and
Well, you know, then you can surf anywhere, right? And when they want to come, bring it on. Come on, tough guy.
I like that.
So, you know, it'd scare the heck out of you, but you wouldn't be dismembered or lacerated.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so that's right. Yeah, just something, you know, just something that would allow you to surf in their domain and not have to worry about dying, right? So that's kind of what I've been thinking about.
Carbon fiber.
What's that?
Carbon fiber weddy.
Yeah, or Kevlar, or there's actually some pretty interesting materials if you search the web. And if anyone out there finds anything interesting, send it my way because I'm serious about this. I'd like to see this happen. I think it'd be pretty cool, right? You could have a suit and you wouldn't have to worry where you surf.
We'd stop injuries too.
Yeah.
They use Kevlar for like chainsaw pants.
There you go.
So there's like
there's something
maybe
there.
if you could refine it and maybe thin it and
Yeah.
like chainsaw pants are pretty heavy, like it'll be
Right.
But yeah, if like somehow you could sort of condense it to a layer that is wetsuit sort of.
Yeah, or something. There's something there.
Yeah, there is.
I think so too. And I think there's so many new materials now, you know. So I think it's there. It's just a matter of someone getting it and putting it together in the right way.
Yeah.
So that it's flexible enough. It's not cumbersome, too cumbersome, or whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
When you did that trip, when you followed that one swell, how crazy was that? Like you must have been pretty much getting off the plane, driving to the country.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool journey. I don't know if everyone knows what that was, but that was a time I followed a swell from. I was in Tahiti and.
It was massive, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a big, really big south swell, and I was in Tahiti and I followed it to Alaska. And I didn't start like that. I started on one island.
Yeah.
And I was gonna go chase it to the next island.
Yeah.
And then I put in a call to Sean Collins, the guy that owned Surfline, and he kind of encouraged me. He's like, hey, because there was a flight leaving.
Yeah.
It was, I was on a flight out the next, by coincidence, total coincidence.
Yeah.
And when I called him, he's like, "Hey, there's a big swell." I'm like, "Well, how big?" He's like, I'm thinking like 10 feet or something. He said, "No, like way man, big, like 20 feet."
Yeah.
And I'm just going, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Man, you could follow this thing." So I just kind of like thought like, oh, that would be amazing,
Yeah.
So so I started in Tahiti on one island, then I went to the next island, I went to another island, and it was pretty.
I've got
that
like
was big.
magazines from it, and I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure didn't there was Chris Wan and Brian Wise.
Yeah,
Like,
Brian
Chris
Wise.
was on, like,
Brian Wise followed it to California. I
Yeah.
actually saw him at the Wedge, which was pretty cool because I saw him at Moorea on the big right, and then also the Wedge.
Yeah.
And then from there, I went with a friend out to another spot, and then we jumped on a plane and went to Alaska. But it was just like non-stop, like.
Yeah.
And so by the time, man, I was so exhausted by the time we were there.
It would have been.
Yeah, it was.
And plus, like the fatigue, and then
Yeah.
surfing in Alaskan
Yeah,
waters
yeah, yeah.
just would have been.
But it was an amazing journey. Like that was so cool, so rad.
Yeah.
And just to be able to mentally travel that much of the globe and then piece it together and then
Yeah.
feeling like, oh, okay, I know where this wave came from. It's
Yeah,
just there.
and actually ride the same.
That was pretty
spots.
awesome. Yeah, that was a really good experience.
Yeah.
And it worked out because at the time I was sponsored by Mattel.
Yeah, that's when.
And they had enough money to pay for it because it was expensive. The whole thing was quite expensive. Yeah.
There's no way.
It'd be hard to do it now. You need like
now, like
20 or 30 grand to do it.
Well, that's it. Like even like Namibia, like you mentioned
Yeah.
before, like, and I've sort of discussed it with mates, but it's a sort of place where you need like 10, 15 grand because you've got to be able to go.
Yeah, you got to move on it.
And like so
Yeah,
and then
expensive,
the
yeah.
remoteness of the place and all that.
Yeah, totally. Cool. Thanks for your input. Yeah.
You probably get asked a lot, well, what's your biggest wipeout?
Biggest wipeout. Yeah, so I was trying to think about this. I got this question asked last time. So I've gotten knocked out, been knocked unconscious at Pipe. On a smaller day too. Like I hit this guy's foot and got knocked out, and next thing I know, I'm underwater drifting. That was kind of hectic. I've come close to drowning a couple times. And the only place I got stitches was Shark Island. I got on the Cronulla Shark Island. I did a roll in the final and I landed on my hand. But it was the way that I needed to win the contest. So that was cool. So I got a scar, but it's like, okay, that's worth it.
Did you make the roll? Did you?
I didn't make the roll. I got my butt handed to me. So but one of the weirdest things that happened. I've had some weird stuff happen, but one time I was riding at Pipe and my jersey, I got so blown up that my fins got knocked off and my jersey ended up on my board. Somehow it like blew off my entire body, went down my sleeve and went down the leash to the base of the board. That was pretty trippy. Once one of the worst wipeouts I had at Pipe, I lost my toenails. I just got drug on the bottom somehow, like pushed and you never want to like straighten out or pile drive, but the whole time you might be fighting not to go into the reef, and my feet just went. I guess my fins pulled off and my feet just like drowned into it, and it's like I came up with a bunch of toenails missing. So that was pretty crappy. But I've been pretty fortunate. Bodyboards are pretty forgiving, and if you work your way up and you prepare physically, you can go really big on them as well. Like you can do some massive airs, and so long as you physically prepare for that, you can handle it. So it's been pretty fortunate. No broken bones. Stitches only twice. Once was filming for Blue Crush. The other was at Shark Island, and that's it. Kira got me. That was one of my first bad injuries, man. I drove up. And back then there was no road over here that you could motor. So it was all night we drove, and came in the parking lot here at Kira before all this was the Super Bank, and the waves were kind of firing. They're reeling down the sandbar, and just paddled out and went to it high speed and fell. Usually, there's different techniques you use to kind of fall into the wave, and so I fell into the trench went straight to the bottom, and the sand here is like concrete. So I just went right into the bottom and just like messed my shoulder up. So that was bad because I had a contest 2 days later at Snapper, and it was challenging. But that was one of my worst injuries actually surfing. But no broken bones, so pretty lucky actually. Yeah, not like a surfboard where you get scags and lacerations. It's quite different. I've had plenty of reef rash, but mostly when I was younger, which helped because now that I'm older, I don't get it so much. I know how to fall and I know what to avoid.
So you've never had to spend like an extended period of time out of water before, or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, last year I had a shoulder surgery. I think it was from repetitive use, just trying to do airs and off the wall, just years and years and years. And I think I was doing some exercises, possibly not doing them just right, and that might have aggravated it. And then, so I was advised, hey, you need to get surgery. So I had a good surgeon, and I did the thing. I was out for like almost 3 months. So that was gnarly for me. But hey, I came back, boom. The week of when I was supposed to recover, I was in Tahiti at the Tahiti event, and I made it to the final. So sometimes a break like that can actually be really refreshing for your whole surfing.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Mike.
Yeah.
Where's your favourite place to surf in the world? Like home at Pike or?
Yeah, I mean it's hard to beat Pipe for me just because I'm familiar with it, and it's so diverse. Like 1 foot, 15 foot, lefts, rights.
Yeah.
You know, deep barrels, long barrels, big ramps. It's got everything, but it's also got a crazy crowd, and it's notoriously very dangerous because of the crowd. And there's you know, it's not unusual there'd be a fatality there a year. So it's like the most deadly wave, but it's also an amazing wave. Like, really
anywhere
cool.
else besides?
I love Tahiti. I love Kilpo'o, and I love Padang. And there's a lot of good waves. There's tons of waves here that I really like. So you know, I enjoy a lot of different ones. Yeah, but I like Pike. That's probably my favorite wave. I think. Yeah. Cool.
We've got Kyle Loves here saying who's the next three Groms in Australia to hit the Pro Tour.
The next 3 Groms.
Yep, from Australia.
Standing right next to him. Buzz, Liam. Third one, what do you guys reckon? Shaden?
Yeah.
Shaden's like, yeah.
What about Senna?
There's a bunch of kids around Australia. I reckon there's groups of them.
I mentioned those guys because I know them. I surf with them. They're on my team. I'm stoked on them.
Yeah, there's a bunch from down Cronulla, Maroubra. Surf with Liam, or like all the Liams down there. There's a bunch of there's a bunch of Liam. There's 3 Liams down there, I think. Flano and Newman. Yeah. Noah Gilroy. Yeah, all those guys really good.
There's a lot of good guys.
Yeah, there's usually there's little pockets of them everywhere. So it's just a matter of exposing them.
They're just on the comp scene underground.
Yeah, still competing, but I mean, like the comps in Australia aren't really getting their exposure. So, you know, you probably don't know who they are, but they're there.
Cool. Should we sign some stuff? Are you guys any more questions? Yeah.
One more. You know, when you're making Stewart's View.
Yep.
Do you think you missed the opportunity to make the GoPro back in the 90s?
Oh yeah. Okay, so
like
yeah,
just because you were saying before
yeah,
you.
no, the guy at GoPro gave me the original camera, and it was like it was really rinky-dink, and it was basically a wrist thing. So you put it on your wrist, and so it wasn't being pointed in the right way, you know. So you know, had I had the foresight of what the internet would do and the power of like self-promotion with Instagram and all this stuff, you know, probably would have been thinking differently. But my mind wasn't even there, you know. I was off in somewhere else. And I was mainly concerned at the time of filming that just with the highest quality. So I have my own 16mm camera that I was shooting at the time, a high-speed 16. It's actually a military camera. And at the time, for the size and compactness, it was probably the most resolution you could get. And so that's really what I was after, is like higher resolution and higher. Now, you know, that's pretty obsolete. But at the time, it was cutting edge. And yeah, definitely there's. I mean, that was a huge thing, right? The whole GoPro thing with self cameras.
Yeah.
Action cameras in general.
Yeah, because I remember when there was rumours obviously of you in magazines, obviously. Yeah, when you were bringing that out, I thought, well, that's the next level of.
Yeah. I think
really.
I wouldn't be surprised if like some of the early work that Scotty Carter did with Chad Barba and even that movie, I'm sure it helped push those guys. You know, they saw because there was a lot of POVs in that.
Yeah.
Up on the signature.
You're on.
I'm doing it. Oh, actually, you should get his opinion. What's got no.
Yes, I know.
Here we go.
Oh man, that's so.
It's alright, I'm going to use a thin needle. Cheers, bro.
Yeah, sick.
Might as well just sign the stairs.
Okay.
Brazie's frothing like a grom today.
That's commitment. I love to see it.
Do you remember a night comp that you had in surface about 20 years ago?
Yeah.
I was surfing with you in the water that night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Alright, later.
Good stuff.
See you, Brazzie. See you, bye. See you, Brazzie.